Larisa, what has been your experience and maybe even your pain and what you've observed with our global family and our friends?
Well, what's been really challenging for me is experiencing really loving, kind beings, having such how do I say this? I always try to say this in a nice way. I don't want
Yeah.
to judge the judge. I don't want to polarize within myself here. When I experience a lot of judgment, a dehumanization is what I experience. And this is from both sides, from both camps. Ever since I was a child, I've had this ability to be able to kind of see a full picture and be able to put myself in other people's shoes really easily. So, regardless if I feel really strongly about something, it's very easy for me to put myself in another person's shoes and perceive. We've attached so firmly beliefs and believing that what we're seeing and what we're perceiving is the way, and the other side is um, not smart, they're ignorant, they're uncaring, they're selfish. A lot of labels that doesn't take the whole person and perhaps even how they got there into thinking. And I'm not just talking about information, I'm talking what's underneath of why people choose the way they choose to perceive to begin with. Because we obviously have our ideas and our opinions about what is truth and what isn't truth out there, but what's underneath that is what brings people to certain a predisposition to perceive a certain way. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of projection that's happening right now. And it's very concerning to me because of this piece of dehumanization,
Yeah.
where it becomes way too easy to project our fears onto others, and to have a certain opinion of others, and through those opinions to see them less than,
Hmm.
to see them less than yourself or others that think the way that you think.
And it reminds me of one of the things I learned from Marshall Rosenberg, which was never to make an enemy image out of another human being. And the moment we go beyond the different belief system and think to myself, you're so stupid. You're such an idiot. He's such a jerk. The moment we go beyond the difference of opinion and make the other person wrong or an enemy, and like you've said a couple times, dehumanizing,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And we want peace in the world. Let's stop that.
Yes.
Stop, like eliminate from your vocabulary asshole, idiot, stupid,
Yes.
bitch. Just
Yes.
eliminate those words, because the moment we go there, we are dehumanizing another human being, and we're committing an act of violence, and we are not creating the planet of peace, the new paradigm that I think almost all of our friends say that they want to be a part of.
That is it. If you really drop in, if you really, really drop into your body, if you really drop into what is real in this moment of what you really value, what really matters most to you, I would say that a majority of us actually share such incredibly their common values amongst us all. And yet, if you look at the majority is split when it comes
Yeah.
to how they're perceiving and what they're believing about the vaccine. Is something that you should do, and you must run out and do it right now to protect everybody that you love, or that you think that the vaccine, that there's all this other stuff going on and that it's not safe, and here's all the reasons why. Like, beyond that, like, beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there's a field and I'll meet you there. And if you drop in, that's where we need to meet, is in those places of what really matters most to us. Because I do think that a lot of it comes down to safety. And I think that's why we tend to project all these huge fears and start to dehumanize one another, is because there's so much fear there of
Mhm.
a lack of safety, not feeling safe. And once you tap into where people feel unsafe, that's where people start really lashing out. And I see that you could look at both sides, and safety is an issue on both sides of that
Exactly.
conversation, right?
Exactly. I feel safe because I'm vaccinated. I don't feel like the vaccine is safe, right?
Right.
So there it is. The commonality is, hey, we both have a strong value for safety,
Yes.
and we probably both have a strong value for being healthy and
Yes.
protecting our health. We both want the same thing. We just have different beliefs about how to do that. Can we just agree, hey, I really respect you want to be safe and healthy just like I do? And we have had different indoctrinations of belief. We are hearing different things. And again, somebody's choosing, I like the color blue and I like the color red. I choose the Democratic approach and I choose the Republican approach. I choose the vaccination approach. I'm choosing not to vaccinate. And we all have a right to our choice. And if we can just respect that underneath it, we actually want the same thing. We're just getting there in different ways.
That that is what I would love. I would love for people to see that, even if you completely disagree. Like you can totally disagree, and that is your right. You can think that the other side hasn't done the kind of research that you've done, or they're looking in the wrong places, because that seems to be a common denominator, right? In conversation, well, they're not looking in the right place, where they're not looking in the right place. Well, this is, and you see it, the memes around it, and there's such strong beliefs. But if we can really see underneath all that, which is the values, I think we're not going to find our
Ah,
so right. We're not going to find ourselves in such a place of a violent expression, not only on the outside, but on the inside of ourselves.
yeah.
Because when we start to think these thoughts about other people, what does it do to our own health and our own well-being? What does it do to our families? How does that show up in how we treat each other?
Mm.
In our vibration. How does that show up in our vibrational frequency of how are we really being ourselves? Am I really my true self? Am I really my authentic self if I'm in judgment all the time? What happens? What happens to Larisa? What happens to my internal terrain if I'm in a state of judgment?
It's funny, you're dehumanizing yourself then. In other words, when we do that, we are now going beyond our true values because almost all of us have our true value of wanting to be unconditionally loving and wanting to really see the divinity in all. I think that when we're in our most centered place, non-egoic, but soul-centered place, we all just want to love and honor and respect each other and be loved and honored and respected. So when we choose a belief system over compassionate understanding, we're dehumanizing both ourselves as well as the other person.
Yes.